It's in the background. The puppy is going crazy. Okay, cool. We're live. Let me make sure. On YouTube. There we go. We're live.
Yay.
Hi, everyone. If you're watching, say hi. Let us know you're here. I am joined by Melissa, Ava, and Christy. Oh, and then Ava's dog started barking. So if you hear toys in the background, my puppy Ann's watching the dog and she just wants to play. Hi, Lizelle. Hello. Okay. So welcome to the Wraith Kings Readalong live show. I unfortunately did not reread Radiance and Eldalon. Eldalon?
It looked like Eidolon.
Eidolon. Okay. The E messes me up. Anyway, but I love those. So we'll go around and say how many times we read the books, what our ratings were, all of that stuff.
Start with me?
Yeah.
Okay. This was my first time reading the series, any of them. So I gave Radiance 4.5, Eidolon 5, and the Ippos King 5 stars. Okay. I really liked the couple in the Ippos King.
Mm-hmm. Is it me or Christy? Christy, go.
Okay, I was like either of us. Okay, this is my reread of Radiance, and then I was first time reading the other two. So Radiance is like a strong 4 stars for me, and sadly, the other two I gave them both 3 stars.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
These books are like my babies. I love them. So Radiance is probably my favorite. I don't know. It's hard to say that. One of my favorite romance books of all time. I love it so much. So Radiance is always going to be 5 stars. I don't know how many times I've reread that. It's over 15 in my life. I love that book a lot.
Wow.
I like, whenever I need to fall asleep, I'll read the book. I'll just listen to it. The audiobook narrator, her voice, it's like butter. I love her. I've read Eidolon maybe half that amount, reread it. And then the Ippos King, this was actually my second time reading it. So yeah.
Nice. So, like I said, I haven't reread the first 2, but when I read them, they were like 5 stars. I love them so much. They're also one of my favorite like romantic-y books I've ever read. I just love A Friends to Lovers. It just gets me every time. And then I did start listening to the audio of the 3rd book. And I think because I was listening to the audiobook and not physically reading or doing both at the same time, I felt like, I don't know, I had a hard time keeping up. So I put that on pause. So I'm like 25% into it. But I love that couple because we do see that couple previously. And I was very excited for their books. So yes, I love the world. Hello, Kamal. Okay, so you guys, obviously we've hit on some of our favorite couples, but like, what was your favorite character couple with the romance? We'll start there.
My favorite character was Anuset. I loved her. She was a badass.
Yeah, she was good. I think I just love like Ildiko and Brishan so much. Or Brishan? Is that right?
Brishan,
okay,
yeah.
Yeah, I love them as a couple so much. Like they're just so strong. So I loved like seeing Ildiko like in the Ippos King as well, like when she was training with Anuset and all that. So I just love them as a couple.
Yes. I'm the same way. Brishan and Ildiko stan forever.
Yeah.
But I do also love Saravek and Anuset. Like I love them and I love their little bantering moments even in the first 2 books in the series. So I love how you get to see that before their actual book. So yeah.
In the comments, if you guys have read these books, let us know your ratings for each book. I don't know. Is she going to have more books in this series? Do you know?
I honestly don't know because last year she was diagnosed with cancer, and so she's been struggling to write, obviously. But I think so. I have a feeling maybe that clan warrior guy who was a Wraith King, I feel like he'd have a good story because they kind of hinted in the Ippos King that he hasn't found a wife yet. So maybe.
Yeah, and I thought she talked about like before her health stuff, like that there was going to be a 4th book. So I don't know if she's gonna get back to it or.
And I know Tori, you haven't finished the Hippos King yet, but there's still some stuff that needs to be resolved with Megiddo. So I would assume that she wouldn't leave us hanging like that with him. Yeah, that would be cruel.
Okay, so Kamal said I was able to read book 1 and gave it 4 stars. Skip this one. I only read book 1. It was my second time reading it. And it didn't go well. So, oh no, Lexi.
No. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, so I understand. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, I think like when I read Radiance and Eidolon, it was like so different of the romantasy that I was reading because it was a friends to lovers and they're like 2 different species. And so they have to like work around that. I don't know. It was just like, it just hit right. Gave Radiance 6 stars and Eidolon 5. But you see them in the second or in the third book. So
yeah.
Yes.
And honestly, that was like the only reason I was contemplating reading the third book at all because I love them so much. They're like one of my favorite couples. So
I love banter, so that's why I like them because I'm a big fan of banter, and their banter and it continues like throughout the whole thing. They have great banter.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I love that she like switched it up too, like how he's now the human and she's Kai, you know, so like different than the first couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also loved that in both of them, the guys needed saving. Like,
yes,
not the damsel in distress. It's the hero in distress.
Yeah.
I like it though that like in this series so far, she has like Ildiko that's human, and some people can look at her as like so like frail and like she can be injured easily, but like she is super strong. And then on the other side, the third book, you have her that's I don't even know how to pronounce her name. I feel like I'm not going to pronounce it right.
Anuset?
Anuset?
Anuset, yeah, I think. That's how I go by the audiobooks.
Yeah. Okay, Anuset. I just can never remember. I listened to the audio, but I couldn't remember. I just like how she was like.
I know what's SJM's books, so.
But like she was like so badass. Like she's a warrior herself. So it was really cool how we got to switch the female characters with that book.
Yeah, and I like how in the Hippos King, you kind of get to, because in the other 2 books, like Anuset's this like big warrior lady, right? And in the third book, you kind of get to see her soften a little bit, and Sarabek helps her soften a little bit. Like, oh, I will die every time he mentions a hair ribbon.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was good.
I did get to the part where he was like, oh, he like mentioned in his like kind of thoughts. It's like, oh, she has like a softer side. Ooh, what is that about? Okay. So there's supposed to be a novella coming out called Black Hellborn, but I don't know if it's coming out anytime soon. Oh
yeah, that one was set to come out, but then she got her diagnosis. There are novellas though in the series.
There's a ton of them.
Have you read those? Do they follow the same like couple, just like little sneak peeks of like
all the novellas are about Rishon and Ildiko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think if you go on Goodreads into like the Wraith Kings like series button, like you look in the series, it'll like tell you what it is. Like one of them I own because it's in a bind up with like a few novellas from her other series. Like Entreat Me has a novella in there too, and I don't know about. Wait, no, not Entreat Me. What's the other one? Oh goodness.
The Master of Crows one?
Yes, that one, Christy. Yes, that one. So there's like a bind up one, but there's I think 2 novellas about Ildiko and Brishan.
Goodreads says there's 4 novellas.
Oh, but
I was gonna say there's a lot. Somebody was asking, like, DMing me if we were going to be reading those for this. I was like, no, I mean you can, but like we're not. It's not part of it.
Not a requirement.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're just really cute slices of life novellas.
Oh, okay. Oh, Night Tide is 1.5. Lover of Thorns and Holy Gods.
Night Tide isn't about Ildiko and Brishan, but it takes place in that world.
Okay.
I love that cover. So
Mhm.
pretty.
A very cool one. In the Darkest Midnight, it's 2.5. And then A Wilderness of Glass, 2.7.
That one is not about Ildiko and Brishan. That takes place in the world. That one's a merman.
Interesting. I wonder why it's there then.
Because it's in that world, so it's not about that. But I think there's one or two that's about Brishan and Ildiko. There's Lover of Thorns and Holy Gods is theirs.
Okay. There is a fourth book called The Nomus King.
Oh yeah, I saw the title. I don't know what that one's about.
Yeah, there's no cover or blurb, but that's interesting. Interesting. I actually like this, like the fantasy world, because I felt like it wasn't too hard to like keep up with. Like it was from the beginning. It's very easy to kind of like dive in and understand.
I agree. I feel like it's a great starter book for fantasy romance if you want to get into it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lizelle said the third book was just too long in some parts, and some parts she didn't like. So Christy, was that kind of like why you gave it one on the 3-star side?
Yeah, that's what I felt like too. And like even with the second book, like I felt like it was just some of the plot, like I'd get less interested in as it went on, because I was just like, it just seemed like it was lasting forever. And like I wanted more like of the fantasy world.
Okay. I guess it makes sense if you've read a lot of like fantasy books, in that if you go into this, it's more like super light fantasy and like
it's super character driven.
Yeah.
And like when I first read Radiance, I loved that because I loved like character drivenness, and I loved the couple and the friends to lovers, and like even on the reread, like it was still so solid, and I loved that part. But then with book 2, like I was worried how it was going to go, because you know, like when they follow the same couple, sometimes they can like split them up or like do something wild. And so I was glad she didn't do that with them. Like they still had struggles, but like, you know, it was something different than like splitting them apart. Like it kind of showed how strong they are together. And like I loved those parts. Like the couple, like in the romance, 0 issues with. It was just like the plot, like some of the stuff I'd start to lose interest.
That makes sense. That's fair. Excuse me.
I do feel like though the other 2 books are more plot driven, because I do know some people don't really love book 1. Like one of their reasons why they don't love it is because they think it's boring, because it's just about Ildiko and Brishan falling in love, getting to know each other, all that stuff, which I love that crap if the characters are really good. So, but I do feel like books 2 and 3 are more action packed. I also really like the softer side. Softer side of book 1. So I did miss that at parts in the other 2 books, but I also like how we had some action. So it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I think specifically for the first 2 books, also because it's friends to lovers, that it's not everyone's like cup of tea. People really in romantasy love enemies to lovers.
Yes.
Like I think besides Radiance and Eidolon, I don't think there's any other friends to lovers romantasy that I've read.
I think the Blood Mercy series.
Oh, that's true. I did read that first book. But yeah.
Who's written that?
Yeah, what's that one?
Vela Roth.
Oh, okay.
It's called Blood Mercy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to try and get her special edition at a Polycon if I can.
So I go to a Polycon.
Yeah. But yeah, besides like those 2, I can't even think of any other friends to lovers, which I do like. Me too.
Yeah.
I think it's so underhyped in fantasy romance. I feel like more authors should do it, but I feel like some of them are scared to, probably because Enemies to Lovers is so hyped.
Also, with Enemies to Lovers, you can do that I hate you, but I love you at the same time type thing. And sometimes the banter is like more powerful, I guess, because they're enemies. So they like really go at each other. But I don't know. I love friends to lovers. Like, I just think it's like nice. I don't know. It's just nice to read that every once in a while.
Yeah. And this one could have easily gone like hate to love, enemies to lovers because of the arranged marriage. So I feel like that makes it unique too. And that they like are repulsed by one another. Like, it's so unique because usually it's like, oh, everybody's like lusting after each other, but like not the case with these 2.
Yeah.
Oh, a lover of thorns is the Ildiko and Brishan short story. Okay, cool. I struggle with friends to lovers, but really, yeah, it really worked for them. I don't know. Was there like parts that made you like laugh? Because I know in Radiance they talk about that pie thing. And, like
The Scarpatine pie.
It was brought up in the third book, in the beginning of the third book, and it actually made me laugh out loud when I was listening to it because I remembered that from the first book of like how different their food is.
Yeah, all the food. Like they bring up the potatoes again, like in the third one too, and it's hilarious every time.
Yes. And it's so funny too because I think I don't know if you've gone to this part, Tori, but there's like one part of the book where Sarabek and Anuzet live like traveling, right? And he's like, "You need to try this. Like my cook made it." She goes, "Those are potatoes." Like no.
I did get to that part. Yeah. I got right past that part.
No, I swear they taste good. Like try them. And she's like fighting tooth and nail, but she ends up actually liking them. It's so funny.
Yeah. I'm interested to continue when I have time to like sit down and physically read. I just haven't had like a lot of time to sit down and physically read. I'm like more on the go now. But I liked it because Anuzet was training Ildiko and Brishan walks in and it was like, "Are you hurt?" And she had to be like, "She's going to have a bruise for a little bit of time. Just if you see it, don't come after me." I'm like, I love him so much. I love him as a couple. Oh, yeah. He talked about how disgusting potatoes are. And I also love potatoes. So
Me too.
It was so funny. But I also liked it that she was able to write a romance between Ildiko and Brishan of two people that are completely different species that can fall in love. And they're not like physically attracted to each other right away. It had to like develop in that emotional connection first, which I don't know. I feel like that's more romantic and probably why I loved it more. But it's a personal thing for me. Was there anything else that made you guys giggle?
Mostly just the food, and then also just like how much they're repulsed by one another in the beginning, you know? And like, yeah, when he calls her a hag for the first time, but then it becomes like this loving endearment.
Does he call her like my lovely hag at the end, or my beautiful hag, or something like that?
Yeah.
I love that. Anything with the Scarpatine, like in book 3 when it gets loose, like the servant pops his head in, he's like, "Why are you bothering me?" Scarpatine got loose, and he's like, "How dumb are y'all?" And like the cook's like chasing him with a rolling pin or something. So funny.
Have you guys read any other things by Grace Draven?
I've read
Treat Me. Trying to think what else. Maybe that's it that I've read.
I've read quite a few.
I was gonna say, haven't you read like most of her stuff?
Sorry, whoa, tickle. I had a goal of rating all of her backlist like last year or something. I don't remember if I got to it or not, but I want to say I've read pretty much everything that I can recall. Radiance is my favorite, but like I love, goodness, why is the title escaping me again, Christy? What's the title?
Master of Crows.
Yes. that one, and Treat Me's really good. But then I also love her Fallen Empire series. Oh, I haven't read the newest book in that series. There's 3 books in that series. I have not read the newest one. So I haven't read that one yet. But the Fallen Empire series is actually really good. That's a really cool fantasy world. The first one, our heroine's a witch, and she has like these powers where she can like glamour herself to look like someone else. And they live in this empire where the emperor forces a young woman from I don't know if it's a woman, but anyway, a person from every single village as a sacrifice every single word of the. Am I frozen?
You just did a little bit, yeah.
Frozen? Sorry. Live in the middle of nowhere with this internet. But anyway, she gets she can glamour herself every year because normally every girl dies that goes, but she glamours herself as a new person, and she also has fire powers, so she can withstand the flames. And so she secretly dies and goes back to her village every year to save the life of the women in her village. Anyway, the hero is like this gladiator slave in the empire that has to like kill people as a slave, like stuff. And then he's the first person to notice like that she has a glamour, and kind of like takes her as his and kidnaps her and escapes and takes her to his kingdom to get his throne back. So
Do
it's
all the
like
books follow them?
no, the first
okay.
book does. Yeah, so the first book, like they're like he like chains her to him basically, and they're on a horse tracking through to get to his land. And then number 2 is a dragon shifter romance. I love that one.
Ooh.
And then book number 3, I tried reading it, and then I realized like a couple minutes in, like, oh, we met these characters in book 2, and I completely forgot about them, and I think I should know about them, so I need to reread book 2.
That's fair.
Because book 3 is a single dad one, and like apparently she was like his nanny, like undercover though, and so he's like hunting her down because she betrayed them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But anyway, there's a bunch of Grace Draven stuff. She even has like a ghost romance, a steampunk ghost one.
Oh wow.
She has just a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I've only read Entreat Me, and I really liked that one because it's one of those fantasies where you kind of get like 2 romances, like one's the main one, and then one's like you see it more like taking a back seat or whatever. But that's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. What when you say that, it's kind of like they're stuck.
Yeah, it is.
Goes there, yeah. And he's like the Beast.
I like how unique she made that because that's the most unique. I feel like one of the most unique Beauty and the Beast takes I've ever read, even though you could definitely see the nods to the tale. Like so,
yeah, that was a good one. And that one's more enemies to lovers. So for people who want to read more enemies to lovers, every time they talked about food, I laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish one thing with this series, I wish they had like more side characters that we saw.
True.
So like I would be more connected to like other characters in the series, like how we were with Eidolon, with Ashen. Oh my god, what's
who?
the girl in the 3rd book?
Oh, what is it? Anuset?
Anuset.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't remember that name. Like we got her in the first 2 books, and we got to like follow along with her. So I was like, oh yeah, I want to see her story. But I feel like besides her, there wasn't really anyone else.
Yeah, it's kind of isolated, like just with the couple.
Yeah.
I don't know if all of her stuff is like that though. I don't know. Like some of her other books.
sorry, I'm washing dishes and I didn't want to make it loud. But
No,
in the Fallen Empire series, side characters pop up, kind of like they're not involved as Anuset, but they're still side. I feel like the Fallen Empire series does that better with like side characters and stuff. And I do recommend also reading those books and see in order because there's an overarching villain, and you like will not hate her as much as you should if you don't read number 1. She's like the Empress and like the one that keeps the hero as a slave. Like we hate her. So
I own that first book, Phoenix Unbound. I was
yep.
that one.
Yeah, I had to look at that cover. I have seen it a lot. That first book.
Her backlist goes back to like 2009. Like she has a really like early like 2000s backlist.
Yeah, her first work was a short story, and I read it. It was like King of Hell or something, and I think that story definitely influenced Radiance because you have this interesting looking king who the human kingdom fear, but he's actually really nice and everything. But there's a lot of drama in there because the heroine's like the handmaiden to the princess, and he gets married to the princess, not the heroine. So yeah.
Interesting.
That's fun.
Interesting. I don't know what else to say about this series. So if you guys have anything, I just feel like we hit like it really is character driven. So
what was y'all's favorite part of the fantasy world?
I enjoyed like the Wraith Kings, like them becoming that, becoming Eidolon or whatever it was. I enjoyed that. I thought that was very interesting.
I thought it was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that part is cool.
I thought the gala, they're scary.
Oh, yeah.
I would not want those creatures around me. Please, no.
And Christian's mom. Like,
Oh.
summoning demons.
Yeah, I did not like her. Like when she did that, I was like, "Are you joking right now?" Like,
Yeah.
But I love how Grace Draven just kills her. She's like, "There's no, she's not even gonna know. She's dead." I'm like, "Thanks. At least we got that."
Well, when she tried to marry her own son, that got a little weird. She had to die then.
She literally wanted to kill the baby and like, I'm gonna be reborn. No.
I do like it that they're taking care of the baby though. That's cute.
Yes. Because I felt like they both wanted that so bad. I felt so bad because you can like tell that they wanted kids so bad, but
Same.
I also love
Yeah.
I love also the representation that Grace Draven puts in there, because all you see a lot in fantasy romances a lot, or just romances in general, is like they get pregnant, they have the baby, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I kind of like how she made it different than we typically see out there. And like there's not going to be like, oh, now magically I can't get pregnant. Like, no, you know?
Yeah. I like how it's a lot of people call them like non-traditional endings. I like those because I'm like, not everyone wants like the same thing, you know, the happily ever after. Not everyone wants like the kids and all of that stuff. So I don't know. I like that. But like I was okay with them not having kids, but like I kind of like it that they're like now taking care of this child.
Yeah.
Or no. In the third book, they're like going back and forth, but like, oh, we have to take care of the little heir. The heir. That's what they kept calling him.
And I like that they named her after that one lady who like helped save the people.
Me too. That was sweet.
Do we see them more in the third book? Like later on?
Christian and Ildiko?
Yeah.
They kind of pop in like every now and then, but not like a ton. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A little bit. Christian and Onset have a really like sweet moment at the end, I felt like. Actually, all of them.
She's been always there for Brishan though, so like I don't know. I just felt like that was one of the people that he could always count on.
Yeah.
Like when shit hit the fan, like she was always there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else.
Me neither.
What are you baking? What are you baking, Ava?
Oh, I'm gonna make gluten-free chocolate chip cookie dough sandwich cookies. Yeah, I've never made it before, but I wanted to. I've never had a sandwich cookie in my life before where like you have the two cookies and like the cream in the center. I've never had that before. So I got some supplies today, and yeah, I want to make those. I made I was scooping the cookie part. You have to put them in the fridge for like 20 minutes, and then I have to make the filling. So I was washing my mixing bowl to get started on the filling soon.
I love all of the like. Oh, I wish I lived near you, so I could like place an order. I would like. What?
Just come take a trip to Texas.
Oh yeah. I would literally like. I would just love to be near you. So like the donuts, I would just have you make donuts, and I can have those like every morning.
Those were really good. I've never had like that tasted like a donut. You know, like I've only had like the frozen ones. You know, the gluten-free frozen ones, which I literally threw them up once in middle school. So no. But no, it's the first time I've had like a donut since I was probably like 6.
Wow.
So, and then I'm crossing my fingers. I'm waiting for a response from like the people in charge of the farmers market that happens the first Saturday of every month. But I'm hoping I can get in that next week to sell some
That'd
stuff.
be cool.
Yeah, we have some, like when me and Brandon would go to the farmer's market, like they only do it during the spring and like part of the summer because it gets like too hot and then it's like too cold. But they have like a couple gluten-free stands that I'll buy like the bread from because it's fresh and not frozen. So good. I love that. I hope you get in though. That'd be really cool.
No one's I applied like a week ago and no one's responded to me. And so I've had to like DM them on Facebook and send them an email and no one's responded. I'm like, is this a no? Like,
Yeah, really.
Because like, if
Like
I'm
you think
gonna,
it'd be at least like we got your info.
exactly. Because I'm like, if I'm going to be in this, I need to start buying stuff to make the stuff. And I don't want to buy the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, is it your kitty?
I had to let her in because like the dog's downstairs and she's
Aw.
like still wary of her. She's like, I don't know what you are. You're very big. So she was like trying to get into the door. So it's been a crazy.
Wow.
It's been a
How are
crazy
they all getting
time.
along with the puppy?
Yeah. How is
How's,
it?
how's Miko?
Okay. Miko's an old grumpy man. Okay.
We love him.
He,
We love him. It's fine.
he just is like, I don't know. Like, I don't know about you. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're here. Because she's only been here for a week, which is like such a short time, but she's like learning a lot. Oh, she's learning a lot. She knows like sit, stay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she's kind of already learned that because I don't know where she was before she was like abandoned, but she kind of is trait trained. Like she knows that when she goes into her crate, she can sleep and it's okay, which is nice. So we can sleep at night. But yeah,
So
she's like
the puppy crying in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we don't have to do that. Like she'll only whine. Like she whines in the morning at like 7:38 when she's been in there for 7 hours. She's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like, because she can't have full control of her bladder. Like she can't hold it like Miko can. So yeah, he's like around on the floor with her, but like when she gets up in his face and like puppies play by nipping, he doesn't like that. And so we're trying to teach her not to do that. Yeah, but Mimi has been living in my library. She's been up here. And she wants to either be down here or in the bedroom when like the dog's away. So we just introduced her to the office, Brandon's office today, and she did fine. She'll sleep in there. But yeah, it's just like an adjustment for everyone, really. Because she's a puppy, she gets in and everything. She finds things that we didn't even know were under the couch, or like find toys that we didn't know existed, or she'll want to like chew on Brandon's office chair, like on the rolly parts of it. Like it's so random. So yeah. Oh,
what's her name?
Misi, Meci.
Meci.
So we have Miko, Misi, and Mimi.
Did you name her, or was it like Miko where she came with that name?
So Miko came with his name, but they called her Sweetie because she didn't have a tag or anything. So like the foster home that was keeping her called her Sweetie. So we wanted a name with a similar inflection. So we picked Misi to match the M's.
That's so cute.
Yeah. Except it gets confusing now. We'll call Misi Mimi on accident, but yeah. Like she eats fine. Her stitches are all healed because she got spayed last week. She's very much, I want to run around and play. She's just a puppy. She does like to cuddle though. Like once she's like mellowed out a little bit, she'll cuddle with you. But it's a lot.
Is she gonna be a big dog?
I don't know. They said she's a lab pit mix. And she's like 31 pounds now. So I don't know. I hope she doesn't jump on me, which I told Brandon. I said that's something we need to train like right away, is that like I can't have her jump on me because like she'll knock me over. Yeah. And so far she hasn't. She's jumped like the first time I came home from my trip, but you like yell, you say like stop, no, and she'll like go down. But yeah, no, she hasn't really jumped on me. She'll just come up and like wag her tail and put her head like on my legs, but that's it. So we just gotta, it's a training period and I don't like that part. I'm like, Brandon, I need you to deal with all that. He's really good. Like he trained Miko, and Miko's a really good dog. So like my parents came over yesterday. Because my dad's seen the dog. She was abandoned at my dad's work because he works for an apartment complex. So he like seen her almost every day when she was there. So she went right to him and let her like him pet her and stuff. Like my mom and my brother were like, she's like, I don't really know you, but she was fine. She played and everything. I know you're just gonna yell. I was trying to film in here and I had to kick her out because she was right on the mic. I was like, I'm trying to do Caught Up, Mimi. I can't have you doing all
The
this.
Mimi show.
Yes, it's always about her. Always. Always. Well, I was recording with Jess for our podcast yesterday, and she was in here, and I was like, you're just going to have to deal with it. So she's literally like sitting like this during the podcast. So it's fine. You're a good girl, though.
She loves you so much. I love it. Like, she's yours. You're hers.
I see her at night sometimes, like when we go to sleep and she knows the dog's in the crate. She's fine with Miko. She'll come and sit in like the door of our room and just stare at us while we sleep. Like just stare. Like I know that there's a dog in there. I know she's in that crate, and I'm not setting foot inside of here.
Oh no.
But I have to make sure we give each one of them attention and love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. But it's all good. We rescued her. She's safe. That's what I keep telling myself.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, that was a lot of change with everyone. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I didn't say this, but Crystal couldn't make it tonight. She had if you follow her on Instagram, she recently had a major surgery. So I was like, it's okay if you can't make it. She's like, I'll try. And then she texted me this morning saying that she couldn't make it. So yeah, but I'm glad you guys joined in on this read along.
Yeah, thank you for doing it together. It was fun.
I'm glad Christy reminded me because I thought about it was in December.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, Christy, remind me. And then she reminded me. She texted me. She's like, are we still doing that? And I was like, yes, let me put it together. I'm glad you guys picked it up and liked it. But thank you guys for joining. Thanks for chatting with us. It was a little short, but we love Ildacombe Bush, and I think we can all agree on that. They're amazing. So yeah, thank you guys. And we'll see you next time. Bye.